All right, folks, thanks for checking out the video. Today, we're talking about all the chaos about ICE protests popping up everywhere. You see people screaming in the streets, blocking roads, chanting about abolishing ICE or whatever they're going on about. But let's think about it for a second. Is this really about ICE's tactics? Is it about human rights or some kind of moral outrage? Well, the short answer is no. These folks aren't upset about ICE raiding homes or deporting criminals. What they're really fuming about is that they lost the election, big time. Remember 2024? The people spoke, and they wanted secure borders and law and order. But the losers, they're throwing tantrums because their open border dreams got crushed. Now let's think about it for a second. During the last administration, ICE was handcuffed. Borders were porous, catch and release was the norm, and millions poured in unchecked. Now with a new sheriff in town, ICE is finally doing its job, enforcing the laws that have been on the books forever. But suddenly, that's cruel? I mean, come on, if these protesters cared about tactics, they'd have been protesting years ago when families were separated under previous admins, but they didn't. Why? Because back then, it fit their narrative. Now, it's all sour grapes. They're not protesting injustice. They're protesting defeat. So don't let the media spin it otherwise. This is election fallout, plain and simple. Now, the fact of the matter is, these protesters don't want any illegals deported. None. If they had their way, every single one would get a fast track to citizenship. And why is that? Well, it's about votes, pure and simple. Make them citizens, and boom, a massive voting bloc that leans their way. So it's not about compassion. It's about stacking the deck for future elections. I mean, we've seen this playbook before. Amnesty programs disguised as pathways to citizenship, but let's call it what it is. A voter registration drive on steroids. These people cross illegally, get settled in sanctuary cities, and if the left gets control again, they're voting in the next cycle. And don't forget, many of these illegals are coming from countries where socialism is the norm. So yeah, they might just vote for more of the same here. And these protesters know this. That's why they're out there yelling. Not because ICE is mean, but because deportations mean fewer potential votes for their side. If you're an American citizen watching this, ask yourself, why should lawbreakers get to jump the line and influence our elections? It's a scam, and these protests are just cover. But it actually gets even sneakier. In a lot of these deep blue states, California, New York, Illinois, illegals aren't just potential voters, they're population boosters. So these people count in the census, which determines congressional seats and federal funding. So that pumps up the numbers in blue strongholds, giving them more House reps and more electoral votes. And yeah, cash. Billions in federal funding for schools, roads, hospitals, all based on those inflated census figures. It's kind of like a Ponzi scheme. Encourage illegals to come, hide them in sanctuaries, count them up in the census, and rake in the dough from taxpayers in other states. If deportations ramp up, those numbers drop, and poof, blue states lose seats and funding. So that's why the protests are loudest there. It's not humanitarian. It's about holding on to power and money. So don't be distracted. The real issue is they want the border wide open to keep the gravy train rolling. And let's not sugarcoat this hypocrisy. These same people screaming about ICE goons would have zero problem if their side was in charge and using similar tactics against, say, gun owners or quote-unquote MAGA supporters. So imagine that. If they had the political muscle, they'd send in their own enforcers to round up firearms under some common sense law or label Trump supporters as domestic threats and haul them off. We've seen the rhetoric, deprogram the right, censor speech, all of that. They cry about due process now, but given power, and watch how fast they'll flip. It's all about who holds the reins. Right now, they're the ones feeling the heat, so they're protesting. But don't be fooled. It's not about principle. It's partisanship. If the shoe was on the other foot, they'd be cheering the goons on. So, wrapping this up, these ICE protests are a total distraction. They're not about tactics or humanity. They're about sore losers who lost the election and want to keep illegals here for votes, power, and funding. They dream about open borders, instant citizenship, and no deportations ever. And yeah, they'd turn authoritarian in a second if it suited them. So stay vigilant, support secure borders, and remember, America first. So in any case, that's what I think. Let me know what you all think. And as always, we'll see you on the next one.